2 minutes. One minute. The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the program. September 17, you're with the Editor-in-Chief live with Leicester's Oil, your multi-ingredient omega-3 healthy aging supplement backed by thousands of satisfied customers. Get the benefits of 6 supplements in one capsule to support joint, heart and brain health. Take as directed. Read the label. About Health Auckland, folks. Good to have your company. I'm Duncan, Garner. Welcome to the program. Good to have your company. Get involved. Leave us a message. All the details are there. On the show today, the man and his group promising to bring a better deal on power prices for all Aucklanders. We're all paying through the nose. Ridiculously high prices, poor returns on the assets that we own, and the only winners are the corporates. But Patrick Reynolds says vote his group in, and that can change. We'll ask him how that will change. And New Zealand actor Aidee Walker is my team, as in my team on Celebrity Treasure Island. She appears to be getting impatient with the team. Let's play, she says, and she joins us shortly as well. It's news time. Here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It is Grace Cocker, and a very good morning.
Train workers in the capital are taking action after an impasse in negotiations. Rail and Maritime Transport Union members at Transdev Wellington and Hyundai Rotem are unhappy with the proposed clawback in conditions. General Secretary Todd Volster says disruption's likely.
They're sticking to staying with the master roster and not doing any overtime or extended shifts.
And Coca-Cola staff are picketing outside the company's Auckland and Christchurch plants today. Union workers say they need a decent wage rise to keep up with the cost of living. They also want more transparency over what non-E2 union members earn. The Prime Minister is defending a possible increase to the prison population. There could be up to 1,700 more inmates a year within the next decade due to a proposed crackdown on sentencing. Christopher Luxon making no apologies.
That is the trade-off here, right? Do you want these people in your community or do you want them in prison? And we want them in prison.
New research shows Kiwi men are reluctant to talk about health issues, especially with each other. The Prostate Cancer Foundation's Peter Duncan says this epidemic of silence means some are missing out.
So only a third of men are going to the doctor when their condition is serious, compared to women who are visiting their GP more often for everything.
The man suspected of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump has appeared in court. The 58-year-old indicted on gun charges. CNN's Evan Perez says it's likely more serious ones will follow suit.
This was just a charge that the federal prosecutors filed in the Southern District of Florida as a means to continue to detain him while that investigation continues.
In sport, All Blacks hooker Cody Taylor's expecting the best version of the Wallabies to turn up for this weekend's Bledisloe Cup opener. The Aussies conceded a record 67 points against Argentina in their last outing.
We're in Sydney, we're in their home ground. Australia can do anything on their day.
7 candidates have been put forward to succeed Thomas Bach as International Olympic Committee President. They include World Athletics President Lord Sebastian Coe and Zimbabwe's Kirsty Coventry, who's bidding to become the first woman and African to head the IOC. And Alingi and American Magic have avoided elimination at the America's Cup Challenger Series in Barcelona. The Swiss and American entries beating Ineos, Britannia and Luna Rossa respectively. They still both trail 4-1 in the best of 9 series. That's news and sport.
Thank you, Grace. Christopher Luxon, your Prime Minister. So 1,700 new prisoners in the next year or so. That's 2 jails.
Yeah.
We're going to need to build...
we're already pretty overloaded, aren't we, with the prison system?
Labor let a few out, but we need to... 1,700 new prisoners. We're heading down the American path.
It does look like it's going to be kind of over... institutionalisation, I think. But
I hopped in the lift this morning and someone said it's going to snow in Auckland today, and I laughed at them.
Well, the weather looks crazy. It was horrific coming in early this morning. It's now sunny. It was grey.
So it might snow.
I don't think we're going to get snow. I think even Niwa said, oh, that's a bit of a reach.
Has it snowed in Auckland ever?
Not in the Ted Gate I've lived here. I think we had sleet and everyone got excited this one time when I lived here. But again, I've only been here 10-12 years. Yeah. Everyone got excited. There was a bit of sleet. Oh my God. I went,
I rode my bike. I used to ride my bike.
I'm from the South Island. There's not snow.
Yeah. I rode my bike home once in Wellington in the snow, and I had to ring up the wife, come and get me, because I got stranded in Oriental Bay in the snow. Anyway, good morning, folks. Nice to have your company.
Duncan Garner, live.
It's true, it snowed in Wellington. It did, and this was, 15 years ago. It's no secret we are all getting screwed with over-the-top power prices. We know this. A system set up where the only winners are those making what appears to be excessive profits. The power companies are in this together, and we are the ones getting a raw deal. Competition, well, doesn't exist like they said it would, not like we were told anyway. The main power companies, the big ones, have made this $700 million in just the last 6 weeks. If you feel like money's draining from your pockets, here's why, because it is. What can we do about it? For a start, make sure the right people are in charge and hold them to account for the power assets that they manage. In Auckland, it's about the lines carrying the power, and Patrick Reynolds says the people managing those almost $3 billion worth of assets have been asleep for too long, too benign, and it's time they were run with the community at the centre of it, not cast aside to just pay these super high prices every year and get little back from an asset that we own. He's promising better prices and a better return, a better deal for Aucklanders, hundreds of thousands of us, who get paid a dividend every year. And, well, what are we doing? We're paying them to get something a little bit back. Patrick, g'day, nice to have you on the show.
Kia ora, Duncan.
What's going on with power prices, do you reckon? I mean, you're a learned guy. You watch this stuff closely.
Oh, well, we've financialised a basic human need. So in the last decade, 80% or 4 out of every $5 that's gone to the gentailers has been paid out in dividends to the owners. The biggest owner, of course, is the government. So they're not going. Neither party wants to change the situation.
So they get the dividend and they just socialise it. They just put it into whatever they wish.
That's right, and it's not like we have a choice, right? So, look, competition is great if you can choose to or not use the services, right? So, all through the 20th century, with these big monopolies, electricity and water and telephony and everything. Systems were set up to balance.
Yes.
Everyone understood that they're best run as a single system for efficiency, right?
Yes.
You don't want to have, parallel power lines down your street with different companies. Yes. So in order to get some balance against the power, the monopoly power of in those, naturally in those systems, is you have consumer trusts. You have some public ownership that fights for the user,
which is what we have in Auckland. Well, everywhere we have them, right? The lines.
Yeah, that's right. But but through the end of the last century, there was also a big push to privatise them. Now in Auckland, there's the lines company is called Vector, and that is the only lines company, and 75% of that is owned by a community trust called Entrust.
Right, and that's us, right?
That's us. It's pretty complicated and a bit of a secret.
Yes.
It's kept very
secret. But the whole power system is kept as a secret and confuses us, right?
That's right. Yeah. So this is a body that owns 3/4 of a nearly $3 billion company in our name. And the whole purpose of it is to balance that oligopic power of the power companies.
Right.
And
so we
work for the community.
So to get the power from the lakes and from everywhere it comes from, it has to come through these lines, which we own.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 stages really. Yeah. The big transmission ones, that is Transpower, which is owned by the government.
Yep.
And then the lines company is the lines in the street.
Right. And how have we been performing?
Well, appallingly. This trust has been run by a group called CNR for 30 years. and they have done absolutely nothing except pretend it's a company on the stock market and paid a dividend, which of course is just a small return from the power bill you've been paying all year.
So why do we get? Well, see, it's every year we get something like $300 odd bucks. It depends. It
right.
sort of jumps around that figure, right?
Yeah, but it's been declining in real terms.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah, and they've done nothing, absolutely nothing, to either spark innovation in Vector. They've got a controlling interest in Vector. Right? Technology's changed over these 30 years. There's
nothing changed. We've still got the old power lines.
They just sit there, and then once a year they take what's given to them by Vector. They don't even control that. And put it in an envelope and time it perfectly with this election.
Yeah, I know. So so what was the last number we got? Was it 360 or 320 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So why don't I just get cheaper power? I don't want the 360.
Yeah. Well,
I want cheaper power.
that would be better. Everybody. I mean, this is crippling at the moment. It's not like people can choose to not use power.
Yeah, we need power.
There's a lot of people in real hardship in Auckland, and this is incredibly inefficient. I mean, maybe a whole lot of people defaulting on their power bills can fill up those prisons.
People are defaulting on power. I mean, the defaults on power are through the roof at the moment, and people are paying $600 for an ordinary household.
That's right, and yet there are real things that we can do, especially with new technology, with rolling out solar panels and batteries to get people some freedom from the gentailers.
I spoke to the chief executive of a solar panel company on Saturday night at the Auckland Rugby Referees Association dinner. Funny that where you end up with people, right? Yeah. And so I'm there, and he said to me that the way the system's set up right now for solar is that the big gentailers, the big companies, are reserving their right within the holding. So where you hold power in the different areas, they reserve the space in there. So the solar companies can no longer put their power into these reserved areas where they can hold it.
Yeah.
And they've been completely screwed. How does that feel? How does that sound?
This is why we need households, businesses and community buildings in the city to be generating their own power.
Correct. Yeah.
Because then you don't need to get a interconnection into the transmission system.
But we do at the moment, right?
Well, for a company that wants to build a solar farm or a wind farm, they have to interconnect into the system. But the genius about distributed energy generation, the thing that's booming all over the world, Australia, California, even places like Pakistan, Portugal, is that it's behind the meter. They can't stop you using your own electricity.
Exactly, but can we do that here? We can't.
Yeah, of course we can.
Okay, well, why is there not more encouragement for that? Because everyone has a building, right?
Exactly what we want to do. That's right, and I mean, not only that, when you put it on the roof of an existing building, you're not even using land.
Exactly.
And you're not using the transmission wires.
So we've been told we can do this for years and years, but we don't do it.
Yeah, so 2% of roofs in Auckland have solar, 35% is the average in Australia. Auckland is on the same latitude as Melbourne and South Australia. Some suburbs in Melbourne approach 50%. Coverage.
Wow.
Now, this is simply by just tweaking some of the rules around.
So you will push for this if you win the election. You'll push
absolutely, and we'll even fund it in. It is absolutely true. There's no such thing as a magic money tree in the economy.
I've worked that out over the years. Yeah,
but there is something that is remarkably close to it, which is solar and batteries. So there's a trial at the moment on 150 Kāinga Ora homes in Wellington, where Kāinga Ora have put the panels and the batteries in. The tenants immediately get much cheaper power, and then they sell excess solar power back into the grid, and in a few years, Kāinga Ora are saying it's paid for itself.
Yes,
so that's pretty close to.
Well, this is what you call renewable and sustainable. Yeah, right. And so we talk about this, but no one's putting the money into it from central government.
Financial predictability and freedom, because the power prices have gone up 3% every year forever, and are projected to keep going, which is doubling every decade.
Yes, it doubles every decade, so that means, and with rates going up at the same sort of rate, if your income's not going up at the same rate, we're in real trouble. Yeah. And we can see it right now. This was predicted 10 years ago, and here we are. Yeah.
So, but there are things we can do, and there are things we can do locally with our own trust. We don't have to wait for government legislation
So what will you do if you win this election, your group, and you're promising change?
Yes.
What's the first thing you do?
Well, we get right in there with Vector. We really actually start directing them to focus to include energy hardship and decarbonisation as key outcomes.
Yep.
And also to work out ways to build the asset base, because it's really essentially been just flatlining.
Can you get us cheaper power rather than the dividend? How do you work that one out?
Well, we intend to maintain the dividend. I mean, this is still pretty. It's a lifeline, really.
Yeah,
but
significant.
because it's going to take a while to ramp up this alternative source of energy, right, throughout the whole city.
Yeah.
I mean, and think about it. There's, you fly into Mangere over in the inland route and you look down at all those warehouses with their roofs.
Massive
in the sun.
roofs, yeah.
Well, we calculate we could have a gigawatt scale power station, something the size of Huntly, basically, just by
Sitting on the roofs there.
Yeah, working with those building owners for mutual benefit, right?
So you're going to really get aggressive in that space?
Yeah, really aggressive.
Okay, so can you promise cheaper power?
Yes, absolutely. That's
and at
the
what
aim.
time? At what time? Sort of down the path? How far down?
Well, the amazing thing about solar is it's incredibly low tech. It's sparkies with spanners. It's not. You don't need years of consenting. You don't need. You're not building a power plant. Somewhere you're going to have environmental reviews and all of that. So it's remarkably quick. You can turn it round in a number of years.
So within 2 or 3 years, Aucklanders under your leadership could see cheaper power?
Yeah, and we'll focus on people in real hardship first.
Mm-hmm. What's real hardship?
Well, people that just really can't meet the power bill, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
a hell of it. Ordinary folks can't do this now.
I mean, the thing is that people...
Companies can't. There are companies going under. We've seen it.
Well, that's right. So people in the industry say, well, look, demand hasn't grown. Well, they've suppressed demand. They've priced out demand, which is terrible for the economy, right?
Yeah.
So people...
Well, when there's demand, the prices go up 500%. That's how it works, doesn't it? If there's a 10% shortage, let's say in hydro, the power prices, that's 10% of people need more power, the prices go up 500%.
Well, you know how the pricing system works. It's completely insane.
It is.
The gentailers put in a bid to supply power at a certain price, and the system, which is good at managing the system so the lights generally don't go out, but the highest price bid that they accept is then all electricity price.
That's the standard pricing, yeah.
That's why they want to keep expensive fossil fuels in the system.
And that's why they're spilling water, I reckon, in the South Island, because it actually keeps pressure on the system.
Yeah.
It's a rort.
So the other thing,
it's a rort, isn't it?
It is a rort. I mean, the system is set up to incentivise expensive power.
Yeah, there's not competition at all.
And the other thing that we really need to work on is to have protection from increasing outages, right? Well, idiots undoing pylons, but also weather events, right?
Yeah.
So we intend to roll out again solar and batteries onto community roofs, churches, marae, places you go when flood washes your street out.
Well, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck. Okay, but I'll be moving on. But all the best. Take
interest vote.
Yes. No one does.
No, well, it's by mail. They suppress the vote. 9.5% turnout last time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, outrageous. Thank you.
Get out there and vote. Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it, mate.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, very good morning to you. Welcome. Just send us your feedback. It's all online there.
3 questions from the editor-in-chief.
Okay, it's 3 questions. Number 1, what is the state of mental health amongst our kids? Really bad and worse than we thought. The 4th annual Cure Kids report into the state of health amongst our children in New Zealand paints a terrible picture. Hospitalisations for mental health concerns or for intentional self-harm have increased 300% compared to the year 2000, and 1 in 5 or 21% of 15 to 24-year-olds suffered mental distress compared to just 5% 10 years ago. Social media and the COVID pandemic are given as reasons why we've gone backwards in a real hurry. At number 2, but wait, what else is given as a reason? This is where I have issues. They say the climate crisis is another reason our youth are suffering mental distress. How does that impact? Is it the media that keeps reporting that the sky's falling in and we're doomed? So maybe we need to stop catastrophising everything. The sky isn't falling in everywhere and on everyone. And number 3, how much is too much if you're a ratepayer? Stop being so benign about your city or your council. Demand better from them. They're demanding either too much or spending too much. Get interested. Wellingtonians just paid 21% extra on their rates. $1,000 more in just 1 year. And it's only going to climb and climb. Demand better or you'll continue to be completely screwed. Okay, be careful.
Duncan Garner, live.
Right, she's on my team. I'm on her team. And as of last night, she's starting to push her captain Wairangi to play the game. She's a bit frustrated. And she thinks her team isn't using her properly. In short, they think Aidee and I aren't good enough, I think. That's the truth. Aidee Walker, New Zealand actor. Hello, you. Nice to have you on the program.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Is that a fair analysis?
It is, and it's so tricky because if we talk tomorrow morning, I think we'd have a lot more we could say without getting in trouble.
Yeah. So I can see you're starting to get frustrated. You go to Wairangi, and say, come on, why? Let's play this game. We're not all here just to go fishing and sort of wake up in the morning and do our hair. You know?
Yes, I was very much like that. I mean, I know you were enjoying the fishing, but I was like, are we going to talk about like the clues? Are we going to talk about like long-term play, or are we just worried about winning every day?
Because watching,
and winning food.
Yeah, because watching the game, Christian Cullen's hamstring injury. I thought that was for real. I went up to him afterwards. Are you all right, mate? It was. He threw it.
He was good, man.
Wasn't he?
I think I found out about that accidentally. Like I knew something was up, but I did not know how well he committed to that. I was very impressed. Yeah,
because you're
it was
the
good
actor.
acting. And then he had to continue it when he got back.
Get him an agent or something like that. Hey,
I reckon.
How did you find it? Overall, how did you? Because it was the first time I'd met you, and you'd met others as well. But you knew a number of people on the game. Were you nervous going into it? How did you feel? I mean, you're used to being in acting and things.
No, I'm not used to that. Like when you're acting, you're playing a character, so your behavior is not your fault.
Yeah.
But when you're yourself, and also the way, like, I don't know if you're finding this, like lots of things happen that they're not showing, right? They've got to show, and I'm really interested in the storytelling. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay, they're keeping that part quiet. They're keeping that part quiet. They're amplifying that part. They're cutting to us for that look.
Oh, you're overanalyzing because you're a director, you're an actor, you're a producer, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm finding it really fascinating, but I'm also like anxious as hell. Like the first week, I was just like going to bed going, what are they going to do tomorrow? And I'm watching it with my 6-year-old daughter. So I'm just like, I hope everything's okay for her to see.
Because a lot of the focus on the other team's been on naughty old Tamati who cheated and lied. He got really hammered. Although he's got a bit of his credibility back, but he's not popular amongst his team, is he?
No, he's not. And it's a shame because then you see him saying, I want to win my team back. I've got to do something good for them. And, and Suzanne Paul, I think, like, unfortunate. And our team was so hard out about Suzanne Paul. And I look at it now and I'm like, why were we concerned about that?
We were so brutal.
Like,
we're too brutal. We want to win too much.
We are like so intense. Like so intense.
We really were. I'm looking at it now, and they actually don't paint just how intense we were. We were more intense than that, even.
I agree. I feel like he had a bit more story, so they're playing with their story, but they were actually having just a fun time. And I think we were just like, boom, we're going to psych them out. We're going to beat them. We're going to psych them out. Yeah.
I thought we'd think it was the Olympics or something, or the Commonwealth Games or something,
Duncan, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you, what's the response been to Duncan Garner?
Well, I've already cried once, and people said, "Oh, it's only on day 3. What were you doing?" And I don't know. I was a bit emotional, just about being there and being away from things. Because you don't have your phone, and you really are. A couple of nights we went to bed pretty hungry and cold. There wasn't much around, so I don't know. I'm just sort of getting used to it, into that strange environment, because it's really strange, right? I mean, it is really odd.
Strange.
You have a camera following you 24/7, basically.
And also, I think one day out there feels like a week. And I think people are, and we've already been together for a couple of days, like in that incubation period.
Yeah.
So it's, but I'm getting so many people messaging me and going, oh my God, I'm loving Duncan Garner.
Oh, really? Well, I did try to be useful and helpful. Because I wasn't much good at anything else.
And the other thing they've not showed is your snoring, and I'm disappointed because for me that was like a massive part of my life.
I
was
know.
Like, okay, how do we juggle Duncan snoring, and then how many times can I wake up and I would physically move you, and then I was like, it's okay, it's just me, and then I'd move you.
Well, at one stage I thought you were. I don't. What are you trying to get into bed with me? I was like, what are you rolling me over? When was I worst? I mean, I was every night, but when I was on my back, wasn't it?
I think I had to move you onto your side or from your side to your back, and I didn't want to freak you out. But you did wake up one night like this, and I was like, if I don't wake you up, I'm not going to sleep again. The first night, I didn't sleep a wink.
Oh, no. Because of me. You were angry. I remember waking up the next morning like, God, it's like I got a missus again. It's like, ah!
And then the other thing they're not showing is like, oh, God, I just think about how we had to put sunscreen on you.
When did you do that? When I was asleep?
Every day. You wouldn't put it on. You were getting sunburn on your neck.
Oh, wasn't I? Redneck.
I would think you were just like, oh, man, I'm just going to do what they tell me to do. But I was like, Duncan, we've got to look after Duncan.
I was a bit worried that the snoring, it hasn't really come through, but that was quite a big part for those first few days. Didn't someone go into the bush for about 1K to get away from me? Someone walking through the bush? Was it you?
I don't know. It might have been me. I can't remember now. God, it's so funny. But yet tonight is going to be a good Duncan, I think.
Yeah, I think I know. If tonight's the one I'm thinking, oh yeah,
and then
it's
tomorrow,
a really brutal exit, isn't it?
Tomorrow's going to be a cliffhanger. Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, because There's the alliances looking like the alliance is coming. But I think there's a really brutal exit shortly. That's all I can say, really. But there's a really brutal exit. And I think we enjoy it too much.
I don't know if I did. I think I was pretending I was okay with it. And then I was like,
oh, really? Yeah, I felt a bit. It's really, and the sort of history of Treasure Island, it's a pretty brutal. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool. Nice to see you.
Sorry, I turned the interview back on you, and now you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, I was just say, but friendships are made, right? Because people don't know each other. And then, by the end of it all, you see each other and think, wow, we've sort of become friends with these people, and you have shared something and you've bonded, and that's for life. Because whenever we run into each other, it might be, say, 3 more times in our lifetime. But you've shared something and you're going to be tight,
I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, I'm coming onto Duncan Garner's show, but I feel like you're my family.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go see Duncan. And my daughter, because my daughter's 6 and she's watching the show, and she uses everyone's full names because she reads the credits. She goes, that's Duncan Garner. And I said, yeah, I'm talking with Duncan Garner tomorrow morning. And she goes, oh, can I meet Duncan Garner? And it's just so cute. It's like, oh, these people are becoming like her family.
I must admit, there's a whole new audience because just last night I stepped out of the car and just jumped into the dairy, and there's these young girls, maybe 12, 13, and I heard them say, that's the Treasure Island guy. What's his name? I don't know, Treasure Island guy. And so that's a weird little thing. Tonight we're having Taco Tuesday at my son's friend's parents' place who love the game. So Nicola's putting on Taco Tuesday. All the community's invited, and we go along for Taco Tuesday to watch CTI tonight.
Oh my God, I love that. I watch it with my boyfriend that's constantly criticising every move I make. He's like, I would have done that. Oh, that's easy. And I'm like, you don't understand what it's like being there.
You got I saw your bloke. What a handsome boy. You've done well. What a handsome boy.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't fall for Wairangi's charm. Because everyone was like, Wairangi this, Wairangi that. And I was like, yeah.
You should see what I got back at home. Hey, Aidee, nice to see you, mate. Nice to catch up. All the best.
Hey, good luck with us, Duncan, tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of days. You naughty thing. Okay, cheers,
I know,
Aidee.
oh my gosh. See you later.
Okay,
Bye.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
It's the Slam Dunk.
You'll get to the Slam Dunk shortly. Isaac, just before we go, bit of feedback. Your take. Did you watch last night?
I haven't watched last night, no.
But you will.
I'm actually a little bit behind, I won't lie.
It's in your workflow program, though. Right?
Oh, yes, 100%. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
We need to start actually, well, I say I need to start potentially compiling some Celebrity Treasure Island clips that maybe will play out on Thursday or something like that, or Friday, and reflect on Duncan's week.
Tonight, you've got to watch tonight. It is.
Okay.
I can't say much, but I think we're up to the stage where there is one just brutal exit of someone.
Looking forward to it. A couple of comments coming through though. First of all, Andrew, he reckons that it is going to snow in Auckland today.
Yeah, who thinks it's going to snow in Auckland?
I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of it. I don't know.
I used to ride my bike to Wellington when I was a political journalist. Come around the Oriental Bay. And one night I jumped on it, and it just came in a sleet and then snowed. And the snow was, I don't know, 10 inches. And I had to ring the wife, can you come and get me? She didn't want to come and get me. So I had a 10 speed on the point there at Oriental Bay, and I bailed into the car because I could not go through the snow.
That's funny.
Yeah.
A couple more things. Braddox has said Duncan for Prime Minister, which, this could only lead to dangerous things, I'm sure. Yeah,
they'd open the closet, find a few skeletons, and I'd be out within weeks, so take that.
And then he's also asked, which could potentially be a good wee little bit of remembering from you. Does anyone from the chat or Duncan Garner's team remember the man that was on talking about cheap phone plans? Rocket something is what he said. Do you remember anyone like that?
Yeah, we've had a few guys on like this. Was it not Kiwi Mobile?
Could have been Kiwi Mobile.
It was recently? Or
yes.
There must be a Rocket Mobile. There's a Rocket Park. It's in Mount Albert. Rocket. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Hey, okay, so your CTI, you'll get back to your work program?
Of course.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Yeah. Okay, this government says health funding must be on the basis of need and not race. And on the surface, that's totally correct, except when you see the need, it's all along racial lines. It's hard to escape the fact. Okay, and the facts as they're laid out today make for confronting reading. They really do. This is the 4th annual Cure Kids report into the state of health in New Zealand today, and it paints a really alarming picture of how well our kids are doing. And it's a story of the haves and have-nots. And the wealthy and the healthy white kids across that side of town are fine. And the Māori and Pacifica kids across the other side of town, it is that stark and that worrying that we've got some real work to do. Despite record amounts of money going into health and child health, inequities persist amid high disease rates. In short, for some, it's getting way worse. This report details the alarming reality that for Māori and Pacifica children and for children living in areas with the greatest socio-economic deprivation, they have the worst outcomes by a long way, with the leading issues being respiratory conditions, rheumatic fever, rheumatic heart disease, skin infections, dental disease and mental health issues. Factors such as child poverty, limited access to healthcare and poor housing lead to all these bad results. It's particularly evident in the cases of acute rheumatic fever, where Pacifica children, get this, if you hear nothing from me today, just hear this. Pacifica children are 115 times more likely, and Māori children 46 times more likely to be hospitalised with acute rheumatic fever compared to Pākehā New Zealanders. How's that? 115 times more chance that they'll get sick. That is surely not acceptable to anyone, and we need a national plan to attack these worsting stats, because these stats are children, they're not numbers. Okay? And in mental health, social media has reared its ugly head, and here's the proof that we need to show how toxic it's been. There's been a 300% increase in our kids being hospitalised for their mental health and having suicidal thoughts. Let me just stop there. A 300% increase in our young people being hospitalised because of mental health. 300% in just 10 years. It's not good, and it's not good enough, and what we need to do is, it's further proof that we need to show and be able to have the ability to say that our kids can no longer cope with the pressures of what society presents them. Then we have to act on that, don't we? To do nothing is negligent, okay, and we have now had our warning. Social media is toxic. We know this. We know that all the kids are on it, but look what it's doing to them. We don't need further proof. We've got it right now, okay? Social media is toxic to young minds who can't always cope. And the adults in positions of power who can act now should. Okay, that's all I've pretty much got to say on that matter.
Duncan Garner, live.
If you can help, go and help. Right, anything from the control room? Anything from sort of Battleship Galactica out there?
No, man, I'm happy if you're happy.
Okay, that's us then. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief, live with Esther's Oil, the premium New Zealand-made fish oil supplement backed by a study. Support joint, heart and brain health. Use the code Duncan for 10% off. Bang, 10% off just like that. Your joints, your heart and your health get all good. Abouthealth.co.nz. Take as directed, read the label. About Health Auckland. If you call 0800 999 309 right now, then bang, you'll be looked after. We're moving to evenings. Yep. What's the deal again? I see Isaac knows this stuff because he's editor-in-chief. The boss.
So next Monday, the 23rd.
7 p.m.
We kick into it. Yeah, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. So sort of this is in the morning, and then from next Monday we're going to the evening. So we expect then hopefully you can call and you can text and you can ring and get really involved. You're on the couch. There's nothing else to watch on telly because New Zealand television's crap. Apart from 7:30 on 2. Yeah, I had to put that in there. But, you know, I'll be competing with my own program. I'll be on twice. Man, that's all right. We can deal with that. That's us, folks. This is available as a podcast on Rover shortly and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for your feedback and your support. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. To my team, Isaac, Forrester, Zarina, Maddie. Thank you, guys. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Remember, life isn't a dress rehearsal. There is no curtain raiser. This is it. We live in one of the best places on earth. So get out and enjoy it. Have a great day. Take care, folks.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.